A corn planter.
Oh, it's called a corn planter.
Well, we are headed out to do some more fertilizing. We're in the Magnum because, yeah, I still didn't get to fixing that hydraulic hose on the 2150. And even if I did fix it, I still got to tear into it and figure out why my hydraulics are getting so damn hot. That's probably what caused this whole problem. Yeah. Good thing I fixed the air in this the other day because it is working awesome. I actually turned it down, so I guess the white works or the air works in the white, so that's not a huge deal, but it's all around a little more comfortable, a little quieter. Just it's got some more creature comfort, so I'm okay with it. What I'm not okay with is I got two 2150s that are pretty much down right now because the one, the PTO works, so it can go on the manure tank. The hydraulic remotes don't work, which you don't need those for the manure tank, but then I have a steering hose blew all of a sudden, so then again, that's not a hard fix. I just need to do it, but I've been a little busy, and my last rain day I just spent cleaning at the barn, so we're definitely having another rain day, so that'll let me get caught up on fixing stuff, hopefully. But yeah, we're gonna go. Hopefully, what I got in the spreader should finish up all the rented ground, so that'll be done. Then everything left to spread. It's close to home, which is going to be a lower rate because it gets a bunch of manure on it, and whatever we don't get spread on is going to get top dressed anyway. So I don't know if I got enough around to finish everything, but I'll definitely have the rented ground, and then probably just have the home farm itself left. So that should be good as long as everything holds together. My recent history says that nothing's going to hold together, so we'll see what happens. Well, we are off and away and spreading. And you know, this spreader, when we bought it, had the little camera that watched the spinners, and it also watched the fertilizer going into it. And it was just a cheap little $30-$40 Amazon backup camera, and I thought it was pretty stupid, but whatever. I left it on, put it in the tractor, and I really missed that. That was handy. I could just look right here and see that the track was going. I didn't have to look all the way back to make sure it was running and still spreading. It's just nice to be able to check it at a glance quick and get right back to what you're doing. And yeah, kind of missed that, but I wasn't going to take the time this morning to switch it over to this tractor because it's actually hardwired in the white now, so oh well. We're going to spread away and hopefully not go into the woods because it's plenty wet on top to be planting, but people out there are planting, and I'm not in a big hurry to get planting, but I would like to get all the fertilizer spread, so when it is time to plant, I don't have to worry about spreading fertilizer too. Away we go. Well, we got this farm all spread. The next farm's just down the road, but the only stuff I got left to spread is evil steep. And when I say evil steep, I mean it's probably not even fit to farm, and there's a little dip right there at the edge of this field, and I wanted to turn, but the tractor, well, the spreader kept pushing the tractor straight, so we kind of had to rethink really fast there. We got out, no big deal, but it might be a tick wet down over the hill, so I might just say to hell with those little pieces, and we'll get them when it's good and dry, because it ain't muddy, but it ain't dry. So we're gonna probably head back home and start spreading stuff around there. And I actually got I don't know how much is in there, but you can still see it at the front, which it feeds out of the front first, so we're still probably over half full. So if that wasn't the case and I had less on the spreader, I'd think about it. But also, these are just big old balloon implement tires, so they don't want to go straight. They want to go wherever the easiest way is. So if it's slippery and this thing kicks out, why, it could get interesting fast, and my tire tread isn't exactly the greatest. So I think the more I think about it, the we're just gonna head home. We're gonna call it a win. I don't want to break something, because every time I come out this county road, because all our rented ground is out this road, something bad has happened. And I think we're just gonna take today as a win. And if I had a motto, it would be just take the win. That's how I'm gonna farm from now on. Enjoy the little things and take the win. Well, it looks like we're empty. I just made a little turn there, and there's fertilizer all over the ground here, so somewhere between here and here, and probably right about the turn I ran out. So timed that out perfectly. There's two little strips above this that I got spread. That, all that kind of. Basically, I just got this one. There's that one. There's another one on the side of the hill. And that one that wraps up the hill way up there. And yeah, I think I still got about 3 or 4 ton at home, which should easily finish this down here and probably catch that strip up there. And then I'm going to be out. But get all that done. There's just a couple pieces, blah blah blah, and then the home farm, which I don't know, as much manure as it's had on it over the years, it probably could get by without it. Probably will do it, but if something unforeseeable would happen, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Speaking of unforeseeable happening, rock solid, just perfect. Can't beat it. That, not rock solid, but by golly, it's holding together. So far, it's only about 2/3. Well, we got all that spread, all this spread. We're just gonna hit that field over there, and that should about empty us out. And even if we run out, which probably shouldn't, but that field has had a mountain of manure spread on it, so probably really doesn't even need this, but by golly, we're gonna give it to it. That's a frickin' rock there. I chisel plowed basically the upper half of this field and a couple passes in between. We use this as a cut across to get down into there, haul manure out of the pit. And yeah, it's a little rough. We ain't gonna be setting any speed records through here. But we're spreading, by golly. Well, it is Friday. It is a sunny, beautiful day, and we got about 2 inches of rain, so ain't nothing happening in the field. And by the looks of it, for the next foreseeable future is just rain. So I was feeling almost okay about where I was in the field. And now we're going to be behind. Not terrible, but not where I'd like to be. Got the white put back together. It was actually just this little line here. Replace that line, put a new roll pin in the 3-speed selector. That fixed that. That thing is pretty much ready to go, except the pressure I'm thinking is turned up too much for the hydraulics, because they're hot, and there was a hole rubbed through that line, so that's not the reason it blew, but it definitely doesn't help everything. So before we get going on that, working it too terrible hard, I'm definitely gonna get that adjusted to where it should be. Blue tractor over there, got a new PTO switch put in. That's done. The 4-wheel drive Magnum I think the pivot for the clutch is getting a little dry and crusty because you push the clutch in and you'll let go of it and it just stays there and you almost got to pop it back out. It's kind of like a 50-50. It's either going to do it or it's not, won't. So I don't think it's the cable. I think it's something goofy and silly. Whatever, but and also if I get that in the shed, we're going to put new lights on the back because one of them works all the time, one of them works sometime, and the other two just never work. So got all this free time. Since it's rainy, I'm going to try to get caught back up on tractors. Yeah, I didn't really film any of that, putting that back together, because I was half working on that, half working on the other one, trying to get those remotes to work. And I went through and replaced a bunch of O-rings in the valve body, but that didn't seem to do anything. So they were definitely shot and needed replaced, but apparently that wasn't my problem. So I'm still drawing a blank on that, and I honestly don't know too much about the hydraulic system on these. All hydraulic systems are kind of their own beast, and I'm sure these ones are really simple and easy to know what you're doing if you know what you're doing, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to let someone who knows what they're doing do that. But yeah, other than that, that's basically the catch-up. Yeah, we're just waiting for sunny and warm weather, and not a lot going on besides that. I think if it gets half dry enough out, I'm going to fire up the Magnum and just do a test run on the corn planter, because when it turns to go time, it's definitely going to be go time, and I don't want to have planter problems then, which I should have done this already, but I was trying to get to the field, so. That's what rain days are for, right? Well, here's Mother's Day. It's supposed to get up to about 80. So I think it's time for me to become the mother of a whole lot of little corn sprouts. I haven't actually ran this thing. I just got everything hooked up and ready to go, and hopefully it works, because it's time to go, so we're gonna go. Well, we made our halfway around the field, and we're gonna go stop and dig up some seed, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
The fun part? Well, we checked our seed depth. There's a couple that need to be adjusted. One of them was spot on, and the other, they were all in the ballpark. And this soil wasn't super worked, and it probably should have been smoothed up some, but we're doing what we're doing. Once we get over to no-till, we might have to take another look over it and go from there. It's getting hot already today. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, by golly, everything is working just awesome. We're a little over half done here, and my hopper light came on. No, never mind, we're way over half done, but my hopper light came on, and I forget how many bags left that means, but I only put 5 in. I think that means 3, so right about where we should be. Well, we made it out here, got one field done, and by golly, the old Cyclo, just born for no-tilling, doing an awesome job. I had to adjust a couple of rows. Just kind of a different animal, going into hard dirt rather than worked up dirt. So doing a good job, can't complain. We actually got rained on quite heavily on the way here, and it's looking dark over there, but as for now, we're gonna keep on planting. Well, I heard a little bit of a clink and then my drum stopped spinning, so I suppose we better go investigate that. Well, it looks like that chain just came off, so alright, Now I gotta remember if I'm on the big sprocket or the small sprocket up there. I guess we'll put it on one, and if my population's not right, we'll switch to the other one. Well, we got that back on. Luckily, I had the right size wrench for that. Good thing I didn't have the metric one, or that wouldn't have worked on this. Judging by how tight that chain was, it must have been the bigger sprocket, so we'll find out if I was wrong on that or not. Well, before we picked it up and failed, right at the end, it said 33,000, which is... I'm still having trouble. That's manually set to 5 miles an hour, and I don't know how super accurate the speedometer is in the tractor, but close enough to let you know you're probably where you need to be. I set all the chains and sprockets by the book for what that specific number is supposed to be, so basically if I go slower, the number's lower. If I go faster, number's higher, just based on 5 miles an hour, which I think 5.1, 5.2 right in there is actual 5 miles an hour, and it all kind of depends if that's kind of as far as worked ground, so you got a little bit of wheel slip, stuff like that. It's probably a little closer being on nice dry dirt like this, so it is what it is, and it works. Well, it's trying to rain, and our chain came off again. We're gonna lube it, hopefully get through this little field, and probably be time to milk cows and quit anyway. Thank God it stopped raining once I got done putting that back together. This kind of sucks because I really need a crescent wrench to hold down on that tensioner and then use the wrench to tighten it. So you kind of got to hold it by hand, and I can't get it super tight. So if it lasts as long as it did last time, we should be able to finish. Well, it should protect it from the straight down rain, but if it runs into that Forrest Gump sideways rain, we'll be in some trouble. Someone's planting corn over there to beat hell. Never mind, they're disking. They must not have cows to go milk. This milking cow thing is really, really getting in the way of the other stuff. That's how she goes. I ain't saying it's gonna rain, but my knees are throbbing sore, so I'm old enough that body parts start hurting when a storm comes rolling in, so that's a little concerning. But even if it does rain, I feel so much better having 25 acres in the ground. So if nothing else, if it rains, I guess that just is going to give the other seed a little head start. So we'll see what happens. Well, we got the cows milked, and we're going to push our luck and see if we can make it rain. We're going to go plant some more corn. I think there's probably 20-ish acres left, so it's supposed to be raining in 2 hours, so let's see if we can beat that. So it's a coming. Here we go. And we are off. And just for good measure, let there be some light. Well, everything appears to be in working order. This damn thing is shifting hard again. It's kind of like a yearly thing now. I get to re-up the accumulators for this, so I can't remember last time if they just charged up the old ones or gave me new ones, but it might just be time for new ones if they keep charging them, so oh well, we're planting away. Well, we did our outside round. There's a little steep evil piece. Shut up. There's a steep. There's a piece over there, and it's really steep, and I'd rather do it with a little light left. Thank you. Also, there's a tree that fell down in the meantime since I was out here with the Magnum pushing trees off, so that was fun. Had to swerve around that to avoid it. Yeah, it's down there somewhere. Take my word for it. What? Who hurt you? I'm not even trying to plant right now. I'm just driving over there. Leave me alone. Ah, it's the sound of spring. Well, 10 o'clock check-in. We got done with that big field back over there. There's this kind of big triangle piece about, I don't know, 8 acres maybe. No, maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8, somewhere in there. But there's this one, and then there's a little terrace and field down there. So that bigger one back there was definitely bigger than this. So over half done. So maybe we'll be home by midnight tonight. But I had a lot of trouble with that marker arm that's up right now. I must have rubbed up against a tree or just caught a sapling or something. I've had this parked down in that shed, and it's kind of a goat path grown over trees over the road. It must have got hooked on something because it was bent just enough I couldn't pull the pin out. So I'd stop, try to get it down, fight with it, say this is wasting too much time, just keep going. I did that probably 3 times, and then finally I just found something heavy to hit it with, and I used a screwdriver for a punch, and there's a half-cut piece of pipe for holding cylinders up, but it had some weight to it, so we smacked the screwdriver and popped the pin out, and the whole world came down. So we got both row markers, and that was good. Otherwise, for doing my short rows, I had to guess going one way, and that's not the best way to do it. So we're moving right along. I'm actually down a gear from what I usually run. This puts me right at 5 miles an hour, and on this smooth, good going, I'm guessing 5 miles an hour is about right on, because that's where we want to be for population, and everything just works good. Knock on wood, it has worked good so far. I haven't had to mess with that chain tonight. I'll probably have to now that I said something, but that's farming. It is getting a little bit of dust out there, so that means it's drying. I haven't seen any rain yet, but I look in the forecast and that's about all you see for 1, 2, 3 o'clock. So hopefully we're done, folded up, and home by then, which if she holds together, we really should be. So we're gonna keep at it. Well, we got all our outside rows done. We are working on the short rows, connecting them, and I am just loving the way this thing is planned. We'll see if how it comes up if I bite my tongue on that. But this ground that got real light tillage, it was hit with the turbo till last fall, and then nothing. It's got that nice crust on top and good moisture underneath, and if it grows as good as it looks, it should work out awesome. And I mean, this year worked out pretty good for it, and actually as warm and not froze as the ground was January, February, I probably could have came out and worked it, but God knows I had plenty of other stuff going on. But no, it's working good. And the coolest part about this is usually planting corn, I'm doing more steering with the brakes than I am the steering wheel. So seeing just how well I can drive this thing makes me really consider the old auto steer for next year. So guidance steering at least, because if anything else, it'd just be handy to know how many acres you're doing, get all that precise and whatnot. And especially like right now, because I cannot see my row marker through at all. It would be the left side over here. That thing just sucks. I don't know if I gotta turn it a little so it throws a little more dirt, but yeah, I might as well be going blind on that one. But no, everything is kind of lining up. We'll see how this little rain shower goes through, but even if we do get rain, the rest of the forecast looks nice, so that should dry out. I cannot see a row marker at all. God, that is annoying. I don't know if that's a nighttime thing or just... I mean, that sucks. Oh, see a little darker dirt. That's it. But, no. This should all work out good. If that rain comes through, that's fine. I did get my parts for the 270 white. There it is. We're off about 6 inches. That's fine. I got the parts for 270. I got to send out wrist pin bushings, get those pressed into rods, honed out, and then that all can go back together. It'll be nice to have another tractor floating around. It's not exactly out for field work, but that thing could run the fertilizer tender, which would free up another tractor. Granted, all I really got left to do is the home farm, which gets a super low rate because it gets absolutely annihilated with cow manure and a few other little fields that ain't going to take a whole lot. I am pretty much going blind right now. I think this is my row marker, but it looks right. We're gonna go with it. And then that just totally disappeared. Okay. But no, yeah, we'll get that back. It ain't gonna take much for what we got left to fertilize. It might actually all fit on one buggy, so. And if I don't, I could probably run the old white on it to get that done. I want to get a manure tank hooked up and get that pit pumped down a whole bunch, because if it rains, the pit fills up. That's just how that works. And yeah, and then once I get that pumped out, then those two fields can get ripped and plant them. And basically that's the only thing keeping me from planting that is manure and fertilizer. So I'm kind of hitting up all the rented ground. This is all going to be combined, so yeah, we get everything taken care of at home. Planting shouldn't be too big of a burden, and of course we got no beans this year, so that helps. So yeah, there we go. Now we got a nice easy line to follow, although it probably doesn't show up on camera very good. It's right there in the middle of the hood ish. Yeah, whatever, take my word for it, it's there. Nope, very excited for this year. It's gonna be a little bit of learning. This no-till thing, it's not quite no-till, it was fall tillage. Usually we'd hit this with a turbo till again just to soften up the surface, but it's a lot nicer in a lot of ways just from driving around planting it. That stuff I planted earlier today was worked up good, and that was pretty rough driving over what I planted, and we're going to chop that, which means it's going to be pretty rough come corn chopping time, which that's kind of a different animal. It gets a lot of compaction through the process of corn chopping, so you kind of really got to work it. It's best if you rip it. But well, we got this piece all finished up. We're gonna drop down over the terrace here and get the last one. Basically, if it doesn't start raining here soon, apparently it's not going to. So worst case scenario, we get rained out, which means all this freshly planted corn gets a nice little kiss of rain to get her started growing. Best case scenario, we get it done. So we're gonna, I don't see a downside to this, so we're doing it. Well, that chain popped off again, but we only got like a quarter of an acre is all, and by golly, we're gonna be done here. Pretty excited for it. This marker arm is acting up again. I had to lock it up, or otherwise it was gonna get in a tree branch going around the outside. So we don't need it. We can get by without it. Well, boys and girls, not quite 11:30 and we are done. And we'll pull up some marker arms. We're headed home. First rented farm done and planted. Life is looking up. We got a couple little sprinkles on us when we were doing the field up there, but nothing for here, and I can't see no stars. A little bit of the moon, but I guess if you catch it just right, you can see a couple tiny little sprinkles. But the way it's looking right now, we'll be back out tomorrow. So and if it rains, I got plenty of other stuff to do, so it'll be good for the corn. Booyah! Maybe I'll even take a shower when I get home, because God knows I need it. Catch you tomorrow.